Hello and welcome to another edition of the Mayor Dan Paletko Show. I have two guests today and we're going to talk about a very important item that probably affects many of you out there. And it's all about the Affordable Care Act and how people can get assistance guiding them through the process. Yep. And the city of Garden City was nice enough to enter in a cooperative effort with the cities of Dearborn Heights and Westland, so we're going to talk about it. So I have as my guests Rob Cox and Megan Sheeran from, hopefully pronounced that correctly, from the city of Garden City. So we're so pleased that you're here today. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what this program's all about and how it benefits all of our residents?
You know, and we appreciate you having us, first and foremost. So it's a really going to be a big initiative to try to help Dearborn Heights, Garden City, as well as Westland residents and surrounding residents essentially get health care. So it's through the Marketplace, health insurance Marketplace. And we're going to be helping everybody who gets, in our doors to sign up and hopefully get some type of insurance. And if we can't help, we're going to make sure that we can refer them to somebody who can. And our goal is to see everybody with some type of insurance to cover all their needs.
And Megan, is this like, for instance, I have a daughter that just turned 26, so she's off her dad's health care. You service all of the age?
Yep.
Okay.
It's all ages. In fact, my sister just turned 26 as well, and I've been helping her get enrolled in a health plan. So that's an absolutely fantastic example of what the kind of people we're trying to look for or we're reaching out to. It's the group of people that we're really trying to focus on are young people from 18 to 34. Seems to be the group of people that are having a hard time getting covered. But it's all ages. We can help you get it up until Medicare. So up until 65, we can help you.
Okay. So that's there's a big need. And now, how did this come about? There was a grant that Garden City applied for, and the nice cooperative spirit, and you're great neighbors in Garden City, and I'm so thankful that you were willing to include my residents. And so. But how did the grant come about?
Yeah.
So we actually got a grant from the National League of Cities a couple years ago, and the grant was focused on getting 100% of Garden City residents signed up with the state insurance plans, so Healthy Michigan, Healthy Kids, and the My Child programs. And so we've gotten involved with the health insurance kind of industry through that grant, and we saw this grant come up last year, and my boss, the director of the Community Resources Department, who actually wrote the grant, was like, hey, let's go for this. And so we went for it and we got it, and we're just honored to be able to include Dearborn Heights and Westland in this effort.
Okay. Rob, if people are watching this, how do they get in contact? Do we have the arrangement all set up? I know we talked about some locations and things, but...
Yes, sir. So we actually have two sites here in Dearborn.
Heights.
At the Dearborn Heights, my apologies. Here at Dearborn Heights. And so the two sites is we have the Berwyn Senior Center, Community Center, and we also have the Eaton Senior Center as well. And we'll give you all the information for those, and I can give you the phone numbers.
Okay.
Actually have them over there.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put them on the bottom of the screen so
Perfect.
people can see them, and we'll run it periodically through the show. So we'll have that available.
Okay.
And we would want them to call and set up an appointment. Is that what?
Correct. So each location, they'll have their own number. So each location, you just call the number for the location that you're closest to, essentially. And when you call, one of our navigators will set you up an appointment, and they'll be able to get you in as soon as possible to help you get through the application process. So we also have two other sites in Westland. So one at City Hall and the other one at the Jefferson Barnes Vitality Center. and we'll be having navigators there as well, which we're really excited, as well as Garden City at the Maplewood Center. So,
Okay. I know where all those are, and those give you a good distribution in each of the communities. Now, it's critical, right, that individuals, in order to have insurance for 2016, the enrollment period started right November 1st.
November 1st.
And it goes through December 15th or am I wrong in that?
No.
No.
It's going to go until January 31st.
Okay.
So from November 1st to January 31st is open enrollment. Now, that doesn't mean, so we'll be doing this after the open enrollment period as well. So if anyone has questions or has issues that come up with their insurance and just need technical help, we can provide that as well. Or if you have a change in circumstance, that means if you lose a job or move from one job to another without insurance, they do account for those things. So you can enroll into the Marketplace as well at those times, which is really important to know. We don't want people thinking that they can't enroll until November if they change jobs in March. So we can absolutely get you through the application and see what you're able to get. So
Okay. As a CPA, I know that I go to various seminars, and there's been talk that kind of the government's way of accounting for whether you have health care or not is going to be tied in with the Internal Revenue Service and the tax return.
Yes.
Do you know any of the details on that, or not at this point?
a little bit. So what happens is when you go to do your return, when you file your taxes, at the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year when they send out all the forms, I believe it's a 1095.
Right.
And the 1095 will give you all the information as to what you paid into your health care. And you're also eligible for tax credits. So, and that's what you also use to, for your tax credits, that form. So,
if you're eligible for it.
if you're eligible for it. So,
So that's how the reporting, and this year for tax year 2015, I'm not sure the IRS had sufficient amount of time to incorporate all that, but I can assure you that seminars I've been at starting in 2016, because there is a penalty associated if you do not sign up and have the health care. So you might have got away with this transition into the new Affordable Care Act, but for 2016, I would certainly, if you have children, family members that are in this situation, it is important that they get health care, because I don't know exactly what the penalties are, but I was told they're somewhat significant, and it's foolish to pay a penalty to get nothing versus when you can actually end up with some health care coverage and not pay a penalty.
right.
Absolutely. It is a very pricey. This year in 2016, it's going to be $695 per person, per adult in the household, or 2.5% of their income, whichever is greater. And so what that amount is usually equals about a bronze plan on the Marketplace. The bronze plan is the lowest of the metal plans, but so you could get health insurance for that much. So you're absolutely right. You'd rather get health insurance and not have to worry about the accidents that could happen, emergency costs, and then having to go into debt. Because you had these emergencies, you might as well just get the bronze plan.
So that's why I think this is so fantastic, and there really is no excuse for somebody not to, and you're going to be there to help them. So I mean, this is just ideal. That's why when it was first brought to me, I was just so excited, because it fits a need, and I've seen through my daughter and her friends that they're kind of, wow, what's happening here? That we're all losing our health care. And the Affordable Care Act, because a lot of them would have lost under normal terms once they got out of college, or they didn't go to college earlier, but they were permitted to be on their parents' health care till they were 26. And so that provided many people very good coverage, but now as they turn older, once they get 26, then they're off the coverage at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
yep. You've done your research.
Well, we
That's
have an
good.
effect in my family, so I had to
Yeah.
make sure that and that's why I just think this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we were really great. How long does the grant go for? Is it a 1 year or 2 year?
So it's a 3-year grant, but we have to reapply every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as we do well and everything goes off without a hitch, we'll be able to
No, I'm
apply
sure
for a
you-
continuation grant.
I'm sure you're going to do fine. So
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Mhm.
Have you already hired your navigators, or you're in the process of? Or?
Yeah, we're in the process. We just hired on 2 more today, so we're really excited about that. And one of the things that I can say about the navigators are these are really empathetic, caring, listen to the needs of all the consumers who are going to be working with, and which is really important when you're talking about some really important things in your life. We're talking about money situations. We're talking about personal finances. And really, those are some really tough topics to talk about, especially with somebody you've never met before. And so, one of the things that we're really excited about is the fact that our navigators are really compassionate and are there to listen and help you really just navigate the system so that you know what it is that you want, and to sit down and go through the whole thing, the whole application process. For an individual, for a family, or even for a business, which is really, it's a neat process.
So you can even do it for business. That I wasn't, maybe I should have been aware, but I wasn't aware of that. So small businesses out there could consider this.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So it's called the Shop Marketplace, and small businesses, it's 50 employees or less. They can come seek a navigator out or go online themselves, and they can get health insurance coverage for them and their employees. And I think it's a great thing for cities to be able to support local businesses like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to get you connected with our Dearborn Heights Chamber of Commerce. So I
Absolutely.
think that'd be another vehicle, and hopefully some of them are going to be watching the show, and so they'll pick it up on that. So this is. Now the other question that came to mind, because people provide quite a bit of confidential information. So how are you treating the confidentiality, and they can be secure that this is only going to be kept with a few amount of people, not expanded and distributed to others?
Great question. Yeah.
Yeah, we've taken they call it the personal identity
Personal identifiable information.
Yes. So we've gotten a lot of training on this, and so we have locks, and we're not going to keep any paperwork on them. We're going to scan in a consent form that they have to sign. That's just to say that they're going to work with us, but that's all going to be on a computer that's locked away. It's very important to us that it's very confidential.
Yeah, and just like with any other program that does take that information, especially working for the city, we are city employees as well. So, those are things that every day when we, just in the buildings we work in, we have to take all those things into account. And so it really is, we have policies and procedures on, those kind of things. And so it's not, nobody's selling information or anything like that. It is strictly to any information that we take will be used to only directly help the client personally, if they return back to us or, those kind of things. So it's nothing to, take, we take that, again, very seriously.
I just thought that was
great.
an important point that we ought to touch on, and I assumed that, you had studied that and came up with the proper controls, but I know for people, because I'm always telling everybody, and I used to tell my clients, do not give Social Security number, credit card numbers, passwords, and other things out, because it's just, in today's, seems like people can grab stuff off the cloud that I didn't think was touchable.
You're right, and we've done background checks on all the navigators, so that's a way we've protected the information. And yeah, again, it's just something that we really, really are passionate about, making sure none of that gets out. And the training is over 20 hours. It's a really intensive training to be certified as a navigator.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what kind of, have you already determined the hours of operation or not yet?
So those are the things that we're currently working on,
Okay.
because I recently just got hired in as of 3 weeks ago. So as of 3 weeks, we've been getting everything up and running. So we're at the point now where we have our locations firmed up. And with the building hours, we're going to try, especially the 2 sites in Dearborn Heights, we're really going to be focused on staying here, being at those sites as long as we can. So I know both of the senior centers, both Eaton and Berwyn, open up at, I believe it's 8:30.
Yeah, we run a 4-day operation, so Monday through Thursday, and
Right.
there's some holiday things, and
Right.
my residents receive notification, or they can go on our website and,
Right.
and tell them. But if you're setting up, rather than just walk in, you'd probably want them to call and set up an appointment. Would make more sense, I would assume.
Sure. Appointments are, those are great to make sure that we have the time set aside for you individually. But we also accept walk-ins because we know just how frustrating it can be, and you want to get up and just go. We understand those things because that's life, and we get it. So if somebody wants to walk in and we don't have time, we'll set an appointment. But if we have time, we're absolutely more than happy to help them.
Okay.
And so, with all of our sites, all of the hours will be posted, as well as on the city website, and then around the building sites as well. So,
Great, that is fantastic. Are there any other items that we didn't cover that, I know one thing comes to mind. If I was to come in and walk in, what kind of information do I need to have that wouldn't force me to go back home or get information? There's some essential stuff that I should have with me?
Yep. So some of the things that you'll need are your driver's license and
Your social security number.
I was going to say, you probably
Yes.
need that.
Yep, and a W-9. Pay stubs can be helpful because you're going to have to project what you think your income's going to be in the coming year.
Okay.
So it's a guess, but your last year usually is an indicator of what that might be.
right.
And I think that's really the big documents that you're going to need.
Yeah, and so those are things that we can, that kind of information for somebody who's looking for help. Those are the things that we want to put on some of our signs, because if someone's walking in the center and they know that they are going to come up with all their information, the next day that we're available, or the next day, those are the things that we're going to put on the website as well as on our signs, because we want people to be, prepared. It is important to be, have all those documents so we don't have to set another appointment.
Yeah, what I was doing, and we did, as I mentioned earlier, I don't really rehearse these shows, but having been involved in the Accounting Aid Society, and so we do returns for people that have a certain threshold of income, and we want to make sure that they bring 1099s and W-2s and information of that sort, because if they don't bring, I can't do the return or the other volunteers. But that's why I was trying to think that there probably was some minimal amount of information that
Those
you
are great
needed
questions,
in order to get through that. So that's, and I know security's always been a concern, and that usually gets them through the accounting aid and their tax return. And a lot of the people that we service really are eligible for credits. So
Absolutely.
it's not a circumstance of them having to pay, but rather if they didn't come and get a professional assistance, and they're, almost all of us are CPAs, and it's done through the MICPA and the Accounting Aid Society, but that's why I was trying to parallel that there probably was some similarities of things that needed to be done. And but the one big thing you have, we will not do any business returns, and you will handle the small business, so that's fantastic, because every once in a while we get somebody and you start adding up the income and you go, oh, you beat the thresholds. You look like you're making enough income. You can go hire a CPA or a tax attorney to prepare your return. This is more for people who are looking for certain credits and things. So.
And so one of the other things too is we also help anyone who's looking to re-sign up or reapply or switch plans. So if you're already on the Marketplace, you can absolutely come to us and we can help you find another plan that meets your needs. If you feel like the last plan you were on didn't really quite meet your needs, we can absolutely help you find a new plan to make sure it fits your needs, exactly. So, which is a really nice thing too.
And the other great thing is that, because I've often cautioned people that when they've gone to financial planners, and sometimes the financial planner is getting a commission on what they're selling.
Right.
In this particular case, there are no commission. You're just an advocate. The navigator is working for the individual that's coming. There is no fees, rebates, or anything that the communities are getting, or this grant. So it's completely working for the individual, and that's the kind of situation that you want to be in, is having that advocate concentrating and being 100% for you.
Yeah, and that's a really important point, I think, too. When you come to us, we're not going to push you towards one plan because we're trying to sell a plan through whatever insurance company. We're going to find what works best for you, wherever that might be, and that's the important thing. If we can find tax credits for you, if we can help you get what you need. That's what's most important for us. It's not selling a type of insurance or anything like that. And that's a great point, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's why this is like great. This is fantastic. I'm so, once again, I said it before on the show here, but including Dearborn Heights, I think that's great. We feel a good cooperative spirit with our neighbor, Garden City, and with Westland, and so there's other things we work with and on, and so it's a good partnership, and thanks for being a good neighbor. So not to plug I think that's some insurance company's thing, but I'm not plugging that insurance company, and I don't even know if they sell HealthCare, but thanks for being a good neighbor. So.
Absolutely. Thank
you.
Is there anything else that we didn't cover? We'll show on the bottom again the phone number, and we mentioned that in Dearborn Heights it'll be at the Eaton Center and the Berwyn Center, and I think most of our residents know where that is. So,
perfect.
Great.
But if they don't, they can call the number on the bottom of the screen, or they can call my office, and we'll make sure they get to one of your navigators and get the health care that they deserve.
Absolutely.
And so thank you, Rob, and thank you, Megan, for being guests on my show. Thank you for bringing the program. And for those of you out in the audience watching this program, sign up. Come on in. Do it. And thanks for watching another edition of the Mayor Dan Paletko Show.